Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream. Live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about the news, we'll talk about altcoins. We're going to move some crypto around for you guys. And as always, I'll do my very best to get to your questions and see if we can't troubleshoot your problems here live. So welcome everybody. It's a nice Saturday evening here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We had a pretty fun day. We went down to the Comic-Con convention at the I want to say the DeVos Center. Yeah. Really had a lot of fun down there. It was great watching people. It was fun. So as far as crypto situation goes, we are still in a dip. As Kenny mentioned in his emails, the sky is falling. I was looking back at last Saturday's stream, and the title of the stream was Bitcoin pumps to 103,000. Is the dip over? Well, apparently the dip was not over last week, and we're still in it. It's a weird one, though, because there's really not everything seems to be good. You know, when the government shutdown ended on Friday, I thought the markets were going to go wild, but instead they went in the other direction. I'll cover the market news. One of the news stories that I'm going to cover mentions that there's this sense of uncertainty because the government statistics weren't available because of the government shutdown. Seems pretty strange, though. That, you know, smart people that have internet access wouldn't be able to get the information they needed on the economy and sales and all that other stuff without having official government statistics to guide them. But to each his own. So anyway, we're going to cover the market news. I've got some new toys here. I've dropped some videos. I'll cover those, the new ones this week. But I wanted to play around with some of these new hardware wallets that I got for you guys. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about Ledger's shift in their naming conventions. They're now calling their hardware devices signers, and Ledger Live has changed its name to Ledger Wallet. I think I've brought this up many times. The term wallet is a generalized term that's kind of way overused, and the use of the term wallet can be confusing for people that are just getting into crypto, and it can be kind of ambiguous for people that have been into crypto, even myself. So, like for instance, Ledger Live, or Ledger Wallet as they call it now, which is a piece of software, can be thought of as a wallet. The combination of your device and the software, Ledger Wallet connected to your device or used in conjunction with your device, can also be considered a wallet. And then each of your cryptocurrency accounts, your Bitcoin account, your Ethereum account, your Solana account, each of those can be thought of as separate crypto wallets as well. So you can see that term wallet kind of gets over applied. So we're going to talk a little bit about the new naming convention. Let's jump in and greet everyone that was here. I usually put up the start screen when I go live to allow people to filter in. And then and I forgot my green screen too. So of course we need that. So now we're professional again. So yeah, welcome everybody here. It's good to have a lot of people here. Believe, that's funny. Believe on Jesus Christ is in here. I thought it was believe on the name of Jesus Christ. Maybe that was a different profile. But welcome here. It's good to have you. It's good to have, I'm scrolled down here. Let me scroll back up. Roland Kane is here. If Roland might have had to leave, but I did drop a video on the Ryder one, but I've got it here tonight. We'll play around with it. Kenny is here. Thanks for being here early. Kenny, thank you for the news. Andreas Ebert is here. Good to have you all the way from Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Just Have Fun is here. Simon is here. I thank you. You're welcome for helping you with questions last week. Good to have you back again. It's always nice to have regulars in the stream. Mr. Miski W mentioned that he bought a flex from my landing page. Thank you for that. He said he got a double flex for when you travel, just in case. And then you brought up the ledger. Oops. The ledger recovery key, and you can buy these separate, and they only work with the touchscreen devices. They don't work with the Ledger X or the Ledger Nano S Plus, but they are really a game changer when it comes to backups and restores. They are so easy to use. You can digitally back up your private key to one of these. This is also PIN protected, so no one's going to be able to access your backup without knowing the PIN. It's just as secure as your device. You know, it's a 3-try reset kind of a thing. And just a backup and a restore are just a breeze. Believe me, I've done many backups and restores over the years, and doing a restore is very tedious and nerve-wracking. As a matter of fact, I met a wonderful gentleman several years back, and we've been texting back and forth, and he lives here in Michigan, and he accidentally reset his Ledger Nano S Plus, and he asked me to come to his house and do a house call. He paid me for my travel time. It was a 2-hour drive, but we had to do a word-by-word restore on his device, and it was dicey. I was worried that maybe he had written it down wrong at some point, and during the process, he revealed to me that when he was setting up his device originally, he wasn't looking at the device. He was having, I guess it was his wife or maybe a good friend of his, was looking at the device and calling out the words to him. And so I thought, oh my God, he misheard one of the words and wrote it down incorrectly. And I was pretty nervous, but I hit it, and we had a few glitches, but we got it done, and it was just a wonderful moment. But yeah, a manual word restore is just so tedious and nerve-wracking. The Ledger recovery key, you just like hold it to the back of the device and boom, it's recovered. So, yeah, a real game changer. Let's see. We got Gregory Whelan here. Good to have you here. Hans Hannah 350, Simona Moulin, Wayne Tyler, E. Poston from Colorado. I went back to that email that you sent me several months ago, and you told me that it's the long O as in go, right? It's E. Poston from Colorado. Good to have you here. P. Wizzle. Paul, good to have you here. Bobby, TB watching. Goofy Dude. Hey, Goofy Dude. Haven't seen you in a bit. Dusted in Shadow. BJ is here. Do I recommend Tangem or Ledger Flex? I actually recommend, for newcomers, I generally recommend the Tangem cards because they're so easy to use. And it's a pretty affordable price point. And then for more of a power user, I recommend the Ledger line. And I do recommend the Ledger Flex. If you're on a budget, then I would recommend the newer Ledger Nano G5. It's cheaper than the Flex. And most of what they have done to make it cheaper, like the plastic case and no sound and just little cosmetic things, it's not really something that is a big deal. If you're on a budget, I would recommend something like this. It's $179 as opposed to the Flex. I believe they will start shipping soon now that the government is back open and the FCC is able to, complete the certification. In order to sell something in the U.S. from abroad, you need an FCC certification in order to do that, and Ledger's certification was held up because of the shutdown, so we should see those start shipping soon. Pretty cool. I have both. You don't have to choose one or the other. So yeah, it just depends on your use case. Swifty 216. J Perrin 01, mute is on. It's off now. It was muted before. I remembered to mute the mic, but I forgot to put up the splash screen. So it's good. E.G. Johnson, everyone's here. A lot of people filtering in. Len, Kumbao, the Happy Camper. Doc Capital, Happy Camper, thank you for being here. First time. Good to have you. Duke of Crypto is here again. I'm sorry, Duke, I forgot to reply to your email. Sometimes my emails fall through the cracks. I will reply to your email you sent me last week. I did get it. Thank you. Correct. Albert Ebert. Circle the Wagons. Mimi is here. I talked to you online, answered some questions through email. I'm glad you are discussing BC, this backup stuff, because you can use recovery key if a flex wallet is already set up, and wondered about if it was written down correctly. Yeah, if you are not sure that your seed phrase is written down correctly and you have a working device, there are two things you can do. One, you can back up an existing device that's already been set up to the backup key. Real easy. You just go into the settings and go into the backup key settings. You don't have to do it during setup. You can do it after setup. Also, there is an app you can download called Recovery Check that will have you enter all the words on the device and will tell you if there's a match. So if you have a mismatch and your recovery phrase is written down incorrectly, if you've got the recovery keys, you're probably okay. But just for the sake of, if you know your backup phrase is written down incorrectly, I would venture to say might be a good idea to transfer your crypto elsewhere and then reset the device and write it down and verify it and make sure you have the correct backup phrase and then put your crypto back. I know that's a tall order for a lot of people, but if you are 100% certain that your backup phrase is written down incorrectly, you should fix it, And like I said, move your crypto off the device, reset the device, set it up again as brand new, and then move your crypto back. You'll incur some transfer fees, but the peace of mind will be worth it. And then you can, the backup keys, the recovery keys are resettable. You can reset them as many times as you want. So, during your wipe and restore, you could have your backup key in case something crazy happens. And then after you get the new device set up and you put your crypto back on there, then you can repurpose that recovery key with your new configuration. So I know that's a mouthful. Anyway, welcome everybody. Let's jump into the news. Let's get through the news real quick. Most of it is bad news. Bitcoin slides below 95K. I think right now, where are we? Where's Bitcoin? I don't even see it up here. Things are kind of up right now. I wish they would always put Bitcoin first, but they didn't. What did they do that for? How did they go back? Anywho, I don't know where Bitcoin is right now. It was at 96 earlier. Now it's at 95,500. So it's a little bit more than, I see what I've done. Something crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So right now we're at 95K 500 and we were at 96 earlier. So we're a little bit above these stories, right? But let's just treat these stories as the state of the market, right? Worst week since March. Since March. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Is that bad? I mean, since March? I mean, I don't know. It would seem to have more impact. It was like the worst day since, the worst week since, 22 and the market crash, but no, it's just the worst day since March of this year. Who cares, right? Bitcoin has tumbled nearly 9% this week, while Ethereum Sol declined even further, and XRP outperformed. Well, good for XRP. Session lows about 95,000. The market downturn attributed to information vacuum. There it is. We don't have those government statistics there to tell us what to do anymore. And diminishing expectations of a Fed rate cut, right? Last month it was like, hey, the The cut was in, right? And then after the last cut, Powell talked trash and, talked bearish or dovish or whatever the heck they call it. And so now we're not so sure there's going to be another rate cut. So we'll see. I think it's like a little bit below 50-50, like 46. We'll get to that. The breakdown puts 84,000 as the next downside target. Ouch. Well, we'll see. We're not there yet. Bitcoin saw no bounce on Friday, holding its session lows below 95,000. The largest cryptocurrency is again underperforming U.S. stocks, with major U.S. indices holding on to minor gains a few minutes prior to the end of trading. BTC was on track to log a 9% loss for the week, its worst performance in 8 months. Ethereum trading below 3,200 fared worse, more than 11%. Sol, right now it's 139. Man, I'm ready to buy some more Sol, right? 139, lost 15%. XRP held up better, dipping just 1%. Crypto-related equities were mixed. MicroStrategy slid another 4%. Exchange bullish. Ethereum Treasury, miners, CleanSpark, Mara Holdings, Hive Digital slid 4 to 7%. On the positive side, miner Hut 8 bounced 6% following earnings results from American Bitcoin, a joint venture with the Trump family, while digital brokerage Robinhood and BTC miner Riot platforms advanced around 3%. None of these are really that big percentage-wise when you think about it. The current market downtrend is largely driven by a lack of clarity on U.S. economic conditions and subsequent monetary policy direction. Yeah, all those, what do they call them, sheeple, need government statistics to tell them what's what and what's not, right? Government shutdown that lasted from October 1st until Thursday. Suspended government inflation and job data releases. The market retracement is the result of an informational vacuum and political uncertainty, they wrote in a Friday note. Key economic data is missing to guide the market, and the Federal Reserve putting investors on standby. However, the shutdown-ending spending bill that lawmakers passed only provides funding to keep the government open until January 30th, weighing on investor sentiment. That's really not that long, really. But they did pass like 3 resolutions that fund certain things and through 2026. I think for a year, SNAP and a couple other things were in there. So they don't have to argue about those in January. We'll see. The temporary funding bill doesn't resolve uncertainty. It just pushes the issue further down the road. Yeah, so what else is new? They've been doing that for the last 10 or 20 years. Every time they never pass a budget. They just pass continuing resolutions to keep kicking the can down the road. What else is new? Noel Atkinson, author of Crypto is Macro Now, said the recent drawdown was a necessary correction after months of range-bound consolidation that failed to sustain a breakout above 120,000. We need to get through this flush before we can breathe more easily, she wrote. Once that happens, the longer-term case for BTC strengthens, but we're not there yet. Some people are saying that Bitcoin could go down to 84,000, which is the next key support level. Glover believes the current pullback is part of Bitcoin's bear market, forecasting volatile action for the upcoming months. We'll likely see prices back above 100,000 before any sustained break below 90,000, he said, noting that the full correction could play out through the summer of 2026. Summer of 2026. So this 84,000 is not like, hey, we're hitting that tomorrow. Like he's saying, maybe by the summer of 2026, we'll see that real bull pullback, right? So yeah, take everything you see on the headlines with a grain of salt, right? Always read that last paragraph. Yeah, okay. And here we go. Bitcoin falls to 6-month low as ETF demand collapses. So now we kind of see what's going on here. There has been talk about long-term holders selling old wallets that are, moving Bitcoin onto exchanges and selling. I don't know how accurate that is. It seems that really it's the ETF, and that's totally understandable because a Bitcoin investor, someone that buys Bitcoin and puts it in their wallet and understands Bitcoin, is not going to really be rattled by, a 10% pullback. But traditional investors that are putting their money in these ETFs through their brokerage firms are more sensitized to pullbacks. A lot of people have strategies in place where, they're not going to just sit there and watch their investment go, lower than 20%. It's just, that's it. They're going to sell when it pulls back like that, and even 10%. So it makes sense that ETFs are experiencing outflows right now, because those are the more traditional investors that are going to try to lock in whatever profits they have by, automatically selling when there's like a 10, 15, or 20% pullback. That's just, investing 101, in the old school, right? They're not used to the wild volatility of Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency markets have extended their decline despite much awaited political developments. Trump signed the funding bill on Wednesday. Bill provides funding for the government. End of the shutdown failed to lift demand among Bitcoin exchange-traded fund buyers. Spot BTC ETF saw a brief resurgence on Tuesday, attracting $524 million in inflows, but outflows quickly resumed with a whopping $866 million in daily net outflows on Thursday. Investments from ETFs and MicroStrategy were the two main vehicles driving demand for Bitcoin price this year. Because the ETFs were mostly attributed to the rise, looks like they're going to be attributing the ETF action to the drop in price as well. The lack of demand for spot Bitcoin ETFs is raising concerns about Bitcoin's prospect for the rest of the year. Okay, yeah. But like I said, people investing in ETFs are really not investing in Bitcoin per se. It's just indirect, and it's more of a, it's a trading play more than it is a long-term investment play, at least in my view. Yeah, so let's see. Let's get through the news here. The probability of a December interest rate cut falls below 50%. Nearly 67% of investors forecast an interest rate cut of 25 basis points in December when polled during the first week of November. And now only 45.9% of investors anticipate an interest rate cut at the next U.S. Federal Open Market Committee meeting in December, amid declining market sentiment and a downturn in the cryptocurrency market. Well, let's just flip a coin. Why not? It's 50-50, right? Is anything certain in this world? The odds of a 25 basis point interest rate cut in December, yeah, we just said that. Okay. So, yeah, sentiment for the next rate cut is lower than it was less than a month ago. So we'll see what happens when they announce in December if there's going to be a rate cut or nothing. They're just going to hold their ground. The only good thing I can say is if they hold their ground, it looks like that's kind of priced in already to a certain extent. So I don't think it will be, a panic sell if the Fed announces they will not cut in December. They've pretty much, laid the psychological groundwork for that already. So I don't see that causing that much of a clamor. It might be a good news is bad news kind of thing. Like once it hits and everyone knows what it is, then maybe they'll start buying again, or they might start selling. You never know. It's 50-50. Right, but that's, rate cut expectations affect the crypto market because lower rates tend to favor risk assets. there's more liquidity out there. Let's see here. No truth to the rumor. Michael Saylor says strategy aggressively accumulating Bitcoin. Amid the continued panicky action in crypto, online chatter suggested strategy was unloading some of its Bitcoin stack, a rumor executive chairman Michael Saylor shot down Friday morning. So that's good news, right? Michael Saylor reaffirmed his firm's continued Bitcoin accumulation strategy amid rumors that the company was selling. We are buying Bitcoin, said Saylor in a CNBC appearance. MicroStar was lower by another 4% in early Friday action, trading below $200 per share and now down almost 35% year to date. With Bitcoin and strategy stock continuing in their steep slides, Saylor in a Friday morning CNBC appearance said his company remains committed to its Bitcoin accumulation strategy. So, yeah. And then some more interesting adoption news. Tether is getting into commodity lending. So Tether is actually, and they're lending out Tether instead of dollars, right? They're lending out their Tether to commodities traders who need that liquidity and that capital for their short-term commodity purchases. Pretty cool. The company is targeting traditional commodity trades, including agricultural products and oil, and plans to increase its exposure. We're going to expand dramatically, Ardoino said. I don't know if I pronounced that right. The lending activity falls within Tether's recently launched trade finance unit, a business line that typically focuses on short-term credit used to facilitate the movement of goods across global supply chains. And there we go. Tether is now among the most profitable companies in the world on a per-employee basis. Tether's push into commodities builds on its existing footprint in the sector. Its tokenized gold product, Tether Gold, has surged in size during the bullion's rally. The company holds more than 100 tons of physical gold. All right. And this is interesting, too. Harvard University just filed a financial report. Harvard University's latest 13F filing with the SEC has generated significant buzz in the institutional investment world. According to the filing, the university held 6,813,612 shares of IBIT, BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF, as of September 30th. This position is valued at approximately $442.8 million. Harvard has increased its IBIT investment by 257% from the 1,906,000 shares reported at the end of June. So Harvard is investing in Bitcoin indirectly. Similarly, the university significantly increased its holdings in gold, GLD, one of the world's largest gold ETFs. So, a pretty traditional institution investing in Bitcoin, albeit indirectly. So that's interesting. Okay, so I think we've covered the news. Let me get over here and get caught up. Let's go over to this one. Duke, if someone gifted you 3 Bitcoin and you were to store them in a cold storage for the next 5 years, which devices would you choose and how would you break them up, as I assume you wouldn't put them all in one? Interesting question, and it kind of addresses my what we're going to talk about tonight with the Ledger naming convention. The way you're posing your question, and I'm not bagging on you or anything, but the way that you're posing your question is making it sound like I should buy 3 devices, load them with crypto, and then store them for 5 years somewhere. And that's really what Ledger is trying to avoid, that mindset of just buy and hold and sticking a device in a safe or a cabinet or a drawer. I know that's not really what you are implying specifically, but the way that question is phrased kind of shows me that mindset in a way. You may, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if I were to get 3 Bitcoin and then have 3 different devices, really what we're thinking of, each device has a backup phrase. That's what you would stick in a safe somewhere. The device itself, I would continue to use and keep it backed up and updated and, not static storage. But that's kind of, I know, I'm not sure I want to answer that question. What would what devices would I choose and where would it, I'm a little more, I'm not quite as regimented as that. I probably wouldn't keep 3 Bitcoin on one device. But I could take one device and have several passphrase configurations. Now that is not recommended. I would not recommend that for newcomers. I don't know that I would want 1 Bitcoin on a Tangem device either. That's more of a newcomer thing. If I were a newcomer and I had 1 Bitcoin, would I store? I guess I would store 1 Bitcoin on a Tangem. Yeah. I tend to stick with ledgers. Me personally, I might spread. I don't know that I would do it 1 Bitcoin on each device. I would keep a working amount maybe or on a Tangem and maybe have several card sets, like 3 or 4 different card sets. And then I would probably store them on a couple of different ledgers. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I've got, 15 or 20 hardware wallets laying around. I probably have about 10. I don't know. Maybe I have 30 hardware wallets laying around. But I have 3 basically go-to ledgers that have different amounts of crypto on there. And then I've got a couple of smaller amounts on other ledger devices. I have small amounts of crypto kind of spread out across wallets that I did demos on. I'm seriously considering maybe putting a little more in the ledger. The Trezor Safe 7, which is a pretty cool device. Yeah. So, everyone's different. I don't know that I'm giving you some, this is what you should do kind of a thing. I'm just explaining kind of my mindset. Robin, I moved Bitcoin from one ledger wallet to my new stacks, and at exactly the same time, a large amount of Bitcoin suddenly moved from my Tangem wallet that I didn't authorize, but it's on the Explorer. Robin, I don't know if you used a seed phrase on your Tangem that you had on your ledger. People have done that. Like you had a ledger and you had a seed phrase, and then you set up your Tangem and you restored using your seed phrase from your ledger. In that case, the wallets are mirror copies of each other. So if you move something on the ledger, it will automatically move it on the Tangem. I don't know if that's what you did, but that's what it sounds like, because crypto doesn't just magically move. And you said it happened at the exact same time you moved the Bitcoin on from the ledger. And I don't know if it's the exact same amount or not, but you might want to check into that. Sounds like you may have inadvertently created backup copies. And like I said, I don't know exactly what you did, but I will say this. It is really a bad idea to import a hardware wallet seed phrase especially onto a hot wallet like MetaMask. People have done that inadvertently. They don't realize that how insecure that is. You don't take a seed phrase from a hardware device and then import it into a hot wallet. It just totally negates the security of the hardware device, because now you've imported that seed phrase into a hot wallet. A lot of people also will do that with other hardware wallets. It's not as bad if you do it onto another hardware wallet, because at least that other wallet is a hardware device. Like if you import your seed phrase from your Ledger device into your Tangem device, but I don't think that's a great idea, because now you've there's some problems with that. One is the derivation path is different on different manufacturers of different hardware wallets. So if you import your seed phrase from your Ledger onto your Tangem, you may not see all of your accounts as seamless as you see them in your Ledger wallet software. The same goes for importing a seed phrase that you set up on a Trezor, importing that into a Ledger. It's not always a one-to-one thing. It's not really a good idea to import a seed phrase onto a different hardware wallet, especially Ledger to Ledger is fine. If you have a Flex, or let's say you had a Ledger Nano S and you want to import the seed phrase onto a newer Ledger device, that's fine. Same, it's going to be a mirror copy. You'll still use your Ledger Live. All of your accounts will be there. They use the same derivation path. I'm not bagging on that. I'm saying that a lot of people import their Ledger seed phrase into other things, and the unintended consequences could come about. So I don't know what you did, Robin. I really don't know. You say, I don't know how to find it. You might want to go into your Tangem app and look at the transaction and kind of see where it went. You might find that you've got mirror wallets. And wherever you said, let's see, I moved Bitcoin from one Ledger wallet. Oh, you moved from Ledger to Ledger, and then something happened on your Tangem. So I'm assuming one of those, that Tangem was probably, you probably imported the seed phrase of that source device. I'm just throwing that out there. How to find it? That's hard when you may not follow the blockchain maybe and look at the blockchain. If you're looking on a blockchain explorer, look at the send and receive addresses and see if you can match them onto your wallets. Maybe look at the receiving address and the sending address and check to see if they're the same addresses on your Ledger and on your Tangem, and try to track things down that way. But on a blockchain explorer, you can see, let's look at one here. Let's see. Let's look at this one. So I sent some Bitcoin from my Ledger Flex. I'm not sure. I'm just grabbing so when you look at now on a blockchain explorer, it's really going to be hard because, this particular one is, let's go back and look at this one. This one's a little more clear cut, but, let's look at this one. View on Explorer. This is a wallet to wallet transfer on my end, but even when it's a wallet to wallet transfer, it gets complicated, right? But you can see that Bitcoin went from one address to a different address, right? I'm pretty sure this is the source address. So it's difficult, and every blockchain explorer is a little different in how it, Ledger Live is pretty straightforward, right? Ledger Live will tell you, okay, you sent it from this address to this address, right? So you can look at which device has that receiving address, I know, it's not easy. No, it's not easy to track all this down, but it can be done. So I would start there. Bitcoin uses UTX trans. Actually, ETH-SOL uses simpler account ledger balance. The seed phrase is all that matters. Robin's issue is a change address he's viewing, that's all. He won't be able to see the change address on his wallet, but he can confirm the balance Most wallets use HD hierarchy. Yeah, and when you import a seed phrase from a ledger, I don't know if that's what you did, but if you import a seed phrase from a ledger device onto a Tangem, the Tangem only allows one Bitcoin account per wallet. So I don't know which one it would choose. It might choose the most basic of all your Bitcoin addresses. So yeah, it's kind of tough to track all that down. Okay, before we get too sidetracked, I want to just play with some stuff here. Yeah, let's see. Let's go to the table demo. Yeah. Let me move this camera. I can do, and this thing is, yeah, I messed around with this stuff earlier. Okay, seems to be okay. So this is the Ryder one. I did I forgot to show you guys my, let me just look. I forgot to go over what's in the description, all that good stuff. I just went straight into the news, didn't I? There's our description. There's our affiliate links. We've got my landing page, Ledger landing page. We've got the stamp seed links there below. Oh, and I did want to highlight this, if I can find it. What have I done? There it is. So Tangem, they were giving a the 2-card set discount before. Now they call it the family pack, and they're not giving that discount that they were giving. They were given, it was like a buy one get the next one 50% off. They've ended that deal, but you still get the CryptoDad discount. And then the Tangem ring, I think they were, let me see if I can make it happen. Let's see here. Whoops. Come on, Rex. Where is it? This one. Whoops. I think you can still get that that deal where if you get a ring, they'll still give you that extra discount. What are you doing to me here? It's me. It's me. Come on. The Tangem ring. Yeah, you can still get both discounts, right? You get the 10% for me, the 15% for the ring. And so you can get a Tangem ring like 25% off. Pretty cool. But then they also have this thing, this holiday box, which is brand new. And keep in mind, this is pre-Black Friday. This isn't even Black Friday. I can't tell you on pain of death, but I can give you a general idea that several hardware wallet manufacturers are going to be running Black Friday deals, and they'll most likely be starting late next week, right? That's generally the hardware wallet manufacturers do, like a, even Amazon now, who do start Black Friday starts in, November 2nd or whatever, I don't know. Amazon's probably already running Black Friday deals, but anyhow, yeah, there are going to be some Black Friday deals, but Tangem is already doing this this awesome holiday box, which looks pretty cool, and you get pretty good with my discount. But anyway, and then I did want to touch on the videos that I did last week. I unboxed the Trezor Safe 7, so we could play around with that tonight. I unboxed the Ryder 1, which I'll play around with that a little bit. And then I did a video on a website called BitDegree, which is a cool website, and I met their team in Paris when I was at the Ledger Open. And it's kind of a play-to-earn kind of crypto education site, which I found pretty cool. And so I did a video on that. They were great people, and it was great meeting them in Paris. So yeah, I did. Those are the 3 videos that I did last week. So let's play around with this Ryder 1. what I think is really cool about this Ryder 1, all right, so you get this little charging brick. It comes with a wireless charger, which they're going up against the Trezor Safe 7, which is $249, and the Ledger Flex, which is $249. The Ryder 1 is $249, but it comes with the charger, and it also comes with a backup key. This is very similar to the Ledger backup key. And then, this is the Ryder 1 itself. It comes with a cable too for your charging brick. And so, yeah, you've got this little charger. And then you put the device there, and it charges. It's a pretty nice little screen too. I like this device. But what's really interesting about it is that during the setup, it has you back up your key using their app. Let me go back. Sorry. Hopefully I'll be able to. Whoops. Let's do this. Come on, where'd it go? No. What did I do? All right, give me a sec, guys. I thought I had this thing up. I guess I don't. What did I do? Did I quit? No. Now let's look at that. Where is my phone? What did I do? Come on, Rex. You can do this. Okay. I must have closed it. That's probably what I did. Yeah, so I have this. Okay, there. I have this bad habit of like hitting the X on this thing when I shouldn't. All right, so now that that's up, when we do this, there it is. Okay, there it's over on the side. So you can see what I'm doing on my phone, even if it's... So when you install the Ryder 1 app and you go through the initial setup, it backs up from your phone. And I thought, is that just the public information that's getting backed up? But it turns out it's not. It's one of the shards, which is interesting. So it backs up one of the shards in your Shamir backup. So the Ryder 1 uses a Shamir backup. So one of your shards is your iPhone backup, and then the other shard is on your backup key. So when you buy the Ryder 1, you get one backup key, the device and the charger, and then you set up the app. So when you do a restore, you use the phone, and then you use the backup key. Those are you need at least two. This is what I've determined as we played around with this. Let me... All right. So let's see, if I go into the settings, right, and I erase this thing, all right, and then I decide there, it's erased. Now let's say I want to restore this thing. It tells me to download the app. I do that. What's it? How do I restore? Do I have to delete this too? I've done this before. Yes. Oh, I think I go in here to recovery. There we go. All right. So recover my lost Ryder 1. Well, we're just assuming that the one that we can also say it's been reset, right? It's basically it's new because now it's in factory condition. So this is the scenario we're doing here. So we recover it. Now the first thing it wants is, okay, lost your, start recovering. We're going to do tap safe recovery. Now I need to get my iCloud shard, right? So I can grant access. All right, then it says my CryptoDad Ryder 1. And then it tells me to turn it on, which I've done. And hit continue. And then it wants me to pair it. So I just tap here. And then whoops. Come on, baby. Don't do that to me. Oh. There it is. Okay. So we're paired up. Choose passcode on your... Okay, so I got to do this again. Well, remember, we erased this, right? So we gotta put the passcode, or choose a passcode. All right, and I have to confirm that. I hope I'm not showing you this. I probably did. All right, so we got the passcode set up. Now I need the tap key. Bam. And I say I want to choose. I could also do a recovery contact, which would be a friend or a neighbor or a family member that had a phone app. But I'm going to choose the recovery tag. Hold the recovery tag underneath. And bam, boom, bam. You can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, come on, baby. I haven't got all night. There. Now, when I did that the first time, I was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird. Oh, all right. So we got to do this again. I got to tell it, yeah, I chose a passcode. Yeah, I chose the recovery tag. And now I need to tap on this. Tap and here. And do this. Okay, and now we're back in business. Okay. Now, I thought to myself, well, that's kind of weird. Why, I don't know that I would really want to hold, whoops, daggone it. Whether I want to rely on my phone backup. Well, as it turns out, if you get extra recovery tags, you can back up the recovery tags as well. Like you can go into the app, or you can go into the you can go into this area and create a new backup and like put a new create a send backup to a new tag. And what's cool about that is I don't have to use the phone recovery at all if I don't want to. I can use 2 recovery tags. So let's wipe this thing again. Hold. All right, so the Ryder 1 was erased. All right, so now we have a blank Ryder 1. Now let's, instead of using my phone, I'm going to go back through the same thing. Recover my lost Ryder 1. It's a brand new one. Start recovering. Tap safe recovery. Only this time, I'm not going to do the iCloud recovery. I'm just going to continue without. It's going to have me turn it on and pair it. All right. I need to create a passcode again. This is brand new. Okay, passcode is set. Now, I'm going to use my recovery tag. And notice how it says, hey, it's only halfway. Now, I need to use another recovery tag. And bam, now we're 100%. So you don't have to rely on that iCloud backup, but I haven't gone through again to see if you can totally avoid backing up your phone during the setup process. I think what I would need to do would be to delete the app and start over again and see if I could bypass that. If you just want to rely on your recovery tags, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so we say, okay, I've done the recovery. So I'm going to tap here. I'm going to tap here. I'm going to pair up again. And there we go. So what's cool about Ryder 1 is you can create a seed phrase, but you shouldn't really. I recommend a seedless option because there are so many issues with backup seed phrases, especially for newcomers. So what we have here is a user-friendly, beginner-friendly wallet with a practically unlimited backup potential. Right? I can buy as many of these little tags as I want to, and I can hide them in different areas. So that's an advantage over Tangem, because Tangem can only create a card set. Once you've created a card set, you cannot buy additional cards to back up the device more than that. And everyone asks me, well, if I lose all 3 cards, do I lose my crypto? Yes, you do with the seedless option. Same with Ryder 1, only you can create a virtually unlimited number of backups. You don't have to say, oh, what if I lose all 3? Well, okay, I've got 50. So what if I lose all 50? Yeah, okay, maybe you might lose all 50, but you're going to be less likely to lose all 50 than just 2, right? So that's the advantage of Ryder 1 is that you've got these practically unlimited backup, seedless backup options. Another thing that's cool about Ryder 1 is that it has a screen, as opposed to the Tangem that does not. So it has limited crypto support, but it's user-friendly and it has some distinct advantages over the Tangem in power and flexibility. Maybe not equal to the Ledger or Trezor, but definitely something to think about for a newcomer. So I thought that's pretty cool. And let's see what else we got tonight for you. Oh, I've got this Ledger Safe 7, and I've already set it up on my computer. But I haven't set it up with my phone yet. So let's see what happens when we do that. So we'll go over to wallets. We'll go to Trezor Suite. This is brand new. And I'll turn off data sharing. I'll enable the Face ID. All right, now I'm going to connect my Trezor. We'll hit connect. We're going to allow Bluetooth. It's going to scan nearby Trezors. Hopefully it sees this thing. Either that or it's going to be an epic fail. It's on. Whoops, now it's off. Oh, couldn't find. All right. All right, let's just turn it on again. Is it on or is it not on? Let's try it again. Unlock. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, come on, baby. Still can't find it. Come on. Come on, baby. I know you can see this. Oh, am I supposed to be doing this? Turn on and unlock my Trezor. Okay, yes, it's on. Pair and connect. Pair, forget all. Disconnected. Pair new device. Oh, there it is. Trezor Safe 7 is your Trezor's name. Let's hit connect. I guess I was supposed to do that. Okay. I think it just managed to see it. Okay, so now it's like, okay, do you want to connect to my iPhone 16 Pro Max? Yes. Okay, so now I've got some pairing code here. 472. This is what happens with the computer as well when you do that for the first time. Okay, and we'll just enable the ones that I have on here. I think I only have Bitcoin and Ethereum on here at the moment. So by all accounts, it should see some existing cryptos that I've already stored on here. Yes, the Ethereum. It still sees the Ethereum. And there it is. Pretty cool. I think I moved the Bitcoin already. So yeah, you can see there, I did my demo earlier this week. You can see I dropped some Bitcoin in there and then I moved it back out again. So it's the same wallet, right? And Trezor has never used Bluetooth before. You were never able to manage your crypto with a Trezor device. You always had to use a cable. Maybe you could use it with a cable in an Android device, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the first time that it's ever the first Trezor device that had Bluetooth and allows you to manage your crypto mobily, which is pretty cool. Now, of course, I'm going to do a video on starting from scratch with an empty device and a brand new app and go through the whole setup process with just my phone, because I think you can do that as well. But you can see there that I've already set up the device with my computer, and now I'm able to pair it up with my phone, although it was a little dicey there when I was trying to connect. I think I just got lucky. Well, I'm sure it would work fine. It works fine. I don't know what I was doing, but it did pair finally, and we're in good shape, and we have full access to my cryptocurrency. I can send and receive using my phone and my device. So pretty big step for the Trezor devices. And you see this is a beautiful screen. If I can get it to come open again. Beautiful screen, a giant pad, tap pad, color, Gorilla Glass, all kinds of cool stuff. It's got a Tropic 1 secure element chip, one of the world's first auditable secure element chips. Tropic 1 is a subsidiary of Satoshi Labs, so it's kind of their chip. And they use the Tropic 1 in conjunction with their Optima, the same secure element chip they're using in their previous devices. So it's got a dual secure chip design. There's pros and cons to all of that, right? There's also pros and cons to the auditable secure element chip. But and they don't claim it's open source. It's auditable. And the other chip is NDA free, which is not open source, but is more transparent and accountable than the closed source secure element chips. All secure element chips are closed source, but an NDA free one means they're free to report vulnerabilities publicly. Anyhow, we're a little bit over, but now I got to put this camera back. Let me just catch up on the screen over here, see where we're at. I hope that went okay for everybody, and I hope it was clear for everybody. But I did want to play around with those devices. I don't know if Roland has already left, but Roland was the one that told me about the Ryder 1, right? So yeah, I did a full setup video on the Ryder 1 from scratch using their app, of course. It's an app only. They don't have computer support. And then, like Tangem. And then I did the full unboxing of the Trezor Safe 7 and showed you how to set it up with the computer. And then just now we went through the mobile setup. So that was pretty cool. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Let's see here. I just want to catch up with everybody. Trezor Safe 7 looks incredible. Loved your video. Thank you. Dang it, Bob. Trouble Dan Wester Rex Timber. I've been experimenting with different Tangem wallets. I really like Tangem. I've brought them up several times tonight. I still think the Tangem is easier than the Ryder one, definitely. I've got a Tangem wallet here. This is my original card set, and I still have all three of them. I haven't lost them. And you can manage multiple card sets with the app, right? I've got the Tangem ring here. I've got another card set over here. You can manage multiple card sets. So like Tangem is really cool, and it's really easy to use. They're very easy to set up. I would recommend the Seedless setup, though. I love the Seedless setup. But there is some, Doc Capital would be the first to point out that there is some limitations to the way Tangem manages the Bitcoin accounts, right? Bitcoin, you're only allowed one Bitcoin account, and it always generates the same address. Let's see. The seed phrase is all that matters. Yeah, we're on there. I use Ledger Live. Robin's experiment. Robin's been experimenting with different Tangem wallets. Okay. I have a copy of the address where it went, but how to locate it. Yeah, I mean, if you can see where it went, and the locate part, I'm assuming, I know we're getting back to your question here, but the locate part would mean checking every wallet you own and looking for that transaction, basically, and looking at the sending and receiving addresses of what you can see on the Blockchain Explorer. And my guess is that you are going to discover that the place where the Tangem Bitcoin went was the same place the Ledger Bitcoin went. That's my guess. And then you'll realize, oh, it was the same transaction. But I don't know that for sure. Yeah. But before you freak out with BTC transactions, learn about UTXO and change addresses, because this unique to Bitcoin. Other cryptos use other transaction systems. We see passcode on the phone in the background. Okay. My bad, not your code. Okay. You can't on the wallet. It's hidden, but you will see the balance. So if the change address is 1 Bitcoin, you will see the 1 Bitcoin in your wallet. The wallet is doing all the work in the background. Advanced features where? Ledger Live or Tangem Wallet. Not directly there. Sometimes you build a manual with a custom wallet. Wallets have come a long way since 2017. Wow, that's way out of my knowledge base. Yeah. Robin, why don't you send me an email at thecryptodad.com and maybe give me some more details about what exactly you did or you think happened, and the addresses that you see on the blockchain, and what you saw move from your Tangem. I might be able to help you track it down. thecryptodad@gmail.com. Let me do this last thing, if you guys don't mind. I'm going to put this back. Sometimes it's easier for me to do these on the stream. All right, so I'm going to attempt this, and I'm going to give you kind of a spiel here. I have a script that I wrote down. I'm going to do my best to deliver it like a newscaster would, so that you don't know that I'm reading from it. But then after I'm done with this little intro, I'm going to have a heart-to-heart talk with you guys. So Ledger is evolving. Big changes you need to know. Hey guys, this is CryptoDad, and Ledger just announced a major shift that's literally redefining how we secure and control our digital lives. A whole new era is beginning, and it starts with one huge mindset change. Ledger devices are no longer called hardware devices. They're officially called signers. We're talking about the device itself. Why? Because we don't store crypto in our devices. They prove our identity and securely sign every action you take online. safely offline with clear signing, so there's zero room for blind trust. Ledger signers are now part of a much bigger vision, full digital ownership, not just asset custody. They're also renaming Ledger Live. It's now called Ledger Wallet, your all-in-one control center to buy, sell, swap, stake, send, receive, everything in one secure hub. They've also announced this new Ledger signer, the Ledger Nano G5, which comes in at $179. So finally we have a Ledger Nano generation that comes with a touchscreen at $179. So why is this important? Why is this so important that Ledger has renamed their hardware, what they used to call a hardware wallet, into a signer, and changed the name of their native software from Ledger Live to Ledger Wallet? The reason is that the term wallet can be misleading and confusing. Even within the crypto world, the term wallet has multiple meanings and uses. So, for example, Ledger Live in conjunction with a Ledger signer can be considered a wallet. A lot of people think of Ledger Live, which has now been renamed Ledger Wallet, as a wallet. And indeed, it can be thought of as a wallet. But in addition to that, each account in Ledger Live, which is for each different crypto, can also be considered a wallet because it has all the functionality of a crypto wallet. It has a send and receive button and a stake button. So it has that full functionality of a crypto wallet. Although the private key of those wallets are stored on the device. So why the name change? Well, the biggest thing is that the confusion that has arisen over the years with Ledger devices. A lot of people are under the impression that they are vaults where the crypto is stored, that the crypto is stored in the device. And they take the device as the end-all, be-all of their crypto. Hey, my Bitcoin is in this thing. And Ledger told me it's a vault, so I'm just going to stick this device in my safe for 5 years. Well, the problem with that is that this is not a vault. This is a signer. Even the old ones, the Ledger Nano S. So when you when you put that device away for 5 years, it misses updates. So in 2020, I saw a lot of this. People were digging out their Ledger Nano S's that they bought in 2017 when the crypto market took off in 2020, only to discover that they were so far behind on their firmware updates that the device had become unusable, and they were mad. Where's my crypto? Well, the backup phrase is the vault. And it's really an easy fix if you have your backup phrase and you know where it is and it's written down correctly. You just get a new device and you restore to it. And that really is what the seed phrase is the vault. The device is just a tool. So this mindset of people thinking that the Ledger device itself was a vault was leading to all kinds of trouble. People weren't keeping their devices up to date. They thought that they could just stick them in a safe for 5 years. Another misconception that I've heard this question many times, people were under the impression that because of the term cold wallet, that when they put their Bitcoin in a cold wallet, it somehow froze the price of the Bitcoin. And I would get that question a lot. Well, if I put my Bitcoin in my cold wallet, will the price freeze? Like if Bitcoin is at 100,000 and I stick it in my cold wallet, will it stay 100,000? Well, obviously not. I mean, if you take a gold coin and stick it under your bed, does that mean that the price you paid for that gold is going to stay the same if you take it back to the gold dealer, the coin guy? Of course not. He'll give you market price. You pay market price when you buy it, you stick it under your bed, and then after you pull it out from under your bed and take it back to the coin dealer, he'll give you market price, whether it's higher or lower. The same with crypto. You stick crypto in a wallet, and it fluctuates its value just like it would if it were on an exchange or anywhere else. But I want to give you an analogy that might help you understand the concept of a signer in a real world example. So let's imagine you work at a medium-sized company in a big building, and that's their only location. And there is a CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, and the Chief Financial Officer is the only one authorized to sign paychecks. That's kind of a contrived example, but we're just going to assume that the CFO is the only person in the company authorized to sign paychecks, and he only signs them when he's in his office. You can't flag him down on the street or see him in a coffee shop or stop him in the hallway to sign the checks, right? He only signs the checks when he's in his office. So the HR or the payroll department will get these checks ready, much like you might get a transaction ready. They take all the paychecks into the CFO's office and he signs them. So this is exactly what a crypto wallet or a crypto signer does, right? You send the transaction information to the signer, and the only thing the signer does is sign the transaction in the office, and then the signed checks go out. So in a crypto signer, a cryptographic transaction request goes in, it gets signed, and then the cryptographically signed transaction goes out, right? The private key never leaves the device during a crypto transaction. This is like the same as the CFO. So the CFO signs the check, and it's really a simple thing to wrap your mind around, that the monetary system does not exist inside the CFO's office. The dollar, he doesn't have stacks of cash in there, right? Cash is not stored in the CFO's office. The only thing the CFO does is sign your check. After he signs his check, it goes back out, and then you get your check, and then you take it to the bank. And we can think of the bank in crypto terms as the blockchain. So you take your check to the bank, and the bank looks at your check, and first thing it says is it signed? Well, they look at your check, they see that it's signed, they go to the account information, and they say, oh, look, this is the authorized signature of the CFO, because we have his signature on file. So the bank checks, is the check signed? It also has some attestation. It checks who is the check made out to, and does that person have their identification? That would be me or you, cashing your payroll check. So that's the attestation. So a cryptographic verification or a cryptographic transaction has that attestation, right? It has all the public key. It has all the cryptographic information when it goes to the blockchain. The blockchain, very similar to your bank, says, is this transaction signed? Yes, it was digitally signed by the signer. And does it have the proper formatting and attestation, right? Does it have the public key of the wallet and all that other stuff? So, and once that's done, then you have access to that money. Now, when you think about the way your money works in the banking system, it's easy to wrap your head around the fact that the money is just moving around in different bank ledgers, right? You take your check, and then let's say you cash it, and then you go down to the power company and you pay cash to pay your power bill. Well, you could also do that online. So basically what we're looking at is digital movement of money on the bank blockchain, right? Or the banking system. So that's what the that's what the blockchain is. It's just a ledger of all of the value of a particular cryptocurrency. So if we look at the Bitcoin blockchain, when I move Bitcoin from my wallet to your wallet, the only thing that happens on the blockchain is value is moved from one part of the blockchain to another part of the blockchain. The blockchain consists of multiple wallets. and transactions. And the transactions are immutable. They're saved. So when we move Bitcoin, we use Bitcoin as our example, from one wallet to a different wallet, we're not actually moving anything out of one wallet to another wallet. We're just authorizing movements on the blockchain of value from one address to another address. So that analogy of the CFO as the signer is a good analogy for why we call these devices signers, because that's all they do. You send your transaction information to the device as formatted, cryptographically formatted request. The signer signs it with your authorization, right? You have to tap sign on your device. And then the signed transaction goes out from your wallet onto the blockchain with specific instructions about your Bitcoin address on the blockchain. Are you moving Bitcoin from one place to another? Are you sending it back to an exchange? All of those are addresses on the blockchain, movements of value out there on the blockchain. Bitcoin is not stored in the device. The device is a tool to simply sign your transactions and authorize movement of value on the blockchain. I know I won't get totally too far into the blockchain as to how it exactly works, but the analogy of the banking system or the financial system to the blockchain holds, at least in this example. So I hope that that explanation clears up a little bit of why it's a better idea to call a hardware device a signer as opposed to calling it a wallet. The term wallet makes you think of that leather thing in your back pocket where you actually stick bills. But even in today's world, you know, you have a lot of digital signers in your wallet as well. You've got your credit cards. You know, when you use your credit card, you don't think your money is actually in the card. You know that money is being moved around between banks when you make a purchase using your credit card. So think digitally. Think about signers as what they are, and rather than a vault where you're going to stick this thing in a safe for 5 years. Please don't do that. They need to be up to date. Blockchains are not static. The ledger is static and immutable. Once a transaction is recorded, it stays recorded. But the blockchains themselves, the Bitcoin blockchain, the Bitcoin software gets constantly updated, new protocols, new address formats, the same with other cryptocurrencies, plus new cryptocurrencies are constantly being added. So your device needs to stay cutting edge and up to date. So if you have any questions about anything I said, throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered. Okay, so I got that one off to the best of my ability. I know we went a little bit over time here. I do a video on connecting wallets with a DEX to trade and buy coins. I have done several videos on DEXs over time. It's been a while since I've done one. I haven't done one lately. I've done, let's see, I've done MetaMask. Yeah, I've done lots of videos on using a device with MetaMask. I've done a couple on Uniswap. When was this one? It was a while back. It's been a while. Yeah, I mean, I do those videos, but I try to stick to the basics as well. I mean, my education is more for beginners, although I do, do stuff on DEXs as well. Just kind of have to look for them. The easiest way would be to, do a, whoops. Google CryptoDad Uniswap, and it'll probably pull up that, the video I did. You could do the same thing with Pancake. yeah, this how to use Pancake Swap. Hey guys, so these are pretty old. That's 4 years old. So yeah, I need to get busy, right? Let's see here. Good stream again. Hopefully next week will bounce. Do you have video on the process of using Recovery Check app for the Ledger Flex? Yes, I do. I believe this one is probably this is using the recovery key with a Ledger Flex when you first set it up. So I'll put a link to that down in the chat window. And then I did another video. My latest stacks setup video, I used the recovery key during the stack setup. So this is like just about a month or two old. It's a very recent video. And the interface is the exact same as the Flex. So if I think your question was, do you have a Flex using the recovery key? And then also recovery key. I believe I did this one. I think this one is where I show you how to use it with a device that's already been set up, because you can do that as well. Positive Planet, will there be any Black Friday sales? No Black Friday sales this year. Yes, of course. I am under pain of death not to reveal any details, but I can safely tell you that we should be seeing some Black Friday deals hitting by next week, right? Black Friday, most of the hardware wallet, Black Friday is getting a lot more competitive now, so most of the Black Friday deals are starting, well a week in advance of Black Friday. So, and will continue on, most of them will continue on through Cyber Monday. So yeah, I'm going to be busy next week posting all my Black Friday deals, but I can't reveal them before they go live. So I'm just going to have to wait. So definitely there'll be some Black Friday deals coming at us soon. A lot of good Black Friday deals coming at us soon. Doc Capital, thank you for coming into the stream. You seem to be very knowledgeable, and I'm glad that you're here to help people with advanced questions. I always appreciate people coming in and sharing their knowledge. Looks like Dan was here lurking earlier. I don't know if he's around right now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I went a little long tonight, but I did want to record that little video about the Ledger name change. I've been meaning to do that for a while. Don't forget, we do this stream every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me again for the live stream from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. I hope to see you again next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon. Thank you, Kenny, for the news. Thank you, Dan, for being here and moderating. Thank you, Doc Capital, for answering questions. Thank you, everyone that came in, joined, and just hung out. Thank you for those that answered questions. And if I did not answer your question to your full satisfaction, please shoot me an email at the CryptoDad@gmail.com. I don't know what happened to it. I lost it. Well, it's in every one of my videos. My email is in there. So shoot me an email. Oh, it's not showing. No wonder. The CryptoDad@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to help you through email. Good night, everyone. Thank you for being here and have a great week. And keep practicing good self-custody. And please don't get scammed. I'm just getting pelted with scam emails concerning Ledger and Trezor. Almost every day I get one or two in my inbox. So please ignore all those emails about critical updates and security vulnerabilities and all that, all that malarkey that they're throwing at you to try to get you to click a link and enter your seed phrase. Please stay safe out there and don't fall for any scams. They are getting worse every day as we get into the Black Friday and holiday season, and they will not let up. So please, guys, don't fall for scams. Never reveal your seed phrase to anyone for any reason, even if it's your mom. I would imagine that all these scammers would even pretend to be your mom, So please don't ever reveal your seed phrase. Good night, everybody, and